today. Hopefully you're doing well no matter where you are on this planet. I am a bit tardy only because I had a meeting with the team and we're discussing some really good strategies moving forward internally. So I sincerely apologize for my tardiness. Good afternoon to you, Dirty Harry, Blue Steel. Hello, John Redline04. Appreciate your kind gestures so much. And I love seeing all of you here, whether you are on Instagram, on YouTube Live, on TikTok. I appreciate all of you nonetheless. Hello, Josh Wonderbread. Good seeing you. Let's see here. Okay. All right, yes, so I'm here after a very crazy week at the LA Auto Show, which was great. Hello, Hugh Jazz Pizza. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you indeed. Yes, so the LA Auto Show was amazing, and we had a variety of vehicles there with some Bisimoto magic. Starting off, opening the show with the Bisimoto Mobi X, following on with the beautiful Type R Odyssey here, where I was here for the entirety of the show, followed up by Rod Chung's twin turbo 935 factory, which is quite nice as well. Huge Pizza, thank you so much for joining indeed. Appreciate you indeed. And oh, I mentioned front and center, we have our friends and family here on Instagram. We have TikTok Live, YouTube Live, and also through the podcast networks via Spotify podcasting. We have the opportunity for you to listen to me and its direction, whether it is during you working out, using the loo, traveling, jogging, whatever the case may be. Joey Neon said, I bought the wheels off your single cam Wago van. That is so cool. Those wheels are so unique. If my memory serves me correctly, they were white 15x8s, courtesy of Spinworks, formerly Circle Racing wheels. Very rare, very lightweight, very efficient wheels. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I miss that car so much. I do have a second version of the Wago van, which is all-wheel drive sequential gearbox K-series. However, it's still good nonetheless. Hugh Jazz Pizza says, I have to ask, where did the fascination with the Odyssey come from, aside from being a classic sleeper, which is right behind me? I have two versions. I have the original old school dark cherry red, which some people refer to as Burgundy Odyssey, 1,000 horsepower, and 550 horsepower newer 2025 Odyssey with a Type R conversion, courtesy of my friends from JDI and us, which is quite nice indeed. That really did come from a double-faceted opportunity. And what do I mean by double facet? One, in 2013, Honda didn't really have a new vehicle to showcase to the populace, with the exception of this generation Odyssey. Secondly, I had started a young family, just had some kids at the time, did not have the opportunity to want to give up my need for speed. So I said, okay, what's the perfect combination of a car where someone like myself, who's a newly appointed dad, could also enjoy all the benefits of having a really cool project that can carry a lot of people in the family and go on errands, but also not give up my need for speed for something that's a lot of fun. And that was the result. Crazy turbo, crazy horsepower, fully built engine, sleeved with a manual 6-speed gearbox, with all the pedals and accoutrements accordingly, with a shifter and third pedal, but also being able to retain the creature comforts of the van. We updated the interior to something nice and leather with my friends from SOS. It still has the multiple climate zones, air conditioning still works, power steering, everything like factory, but still a lot of fun. What could I take the family in with 1,000 horsepower? You can take them to school, take them to the market, have a lot of fun, and then when you're done, you can go to the track and have a blast. If you remember, Rutledge Wood from the Top Gear USA fame drove this at Pikes Peak, had a blast, drove at PPIR, had a blast, cruised all the way through the state of Colorado, had a blast too. And it runs on ethanol, which makes it a little bit more friendly. What's being done to that new gen Odyssey, says Ya from TikTok. Oh yeah, you're gonna love this. Do you see anything unique on that Odyssey right there? Do you see a little badge right there, a little red thing with an R? Do you see the red valve cover? That vehicle originally came with a J35 V6. So yeah, what happened with this Odyssey is we now removed the J series power plant with a 10-speed gearbox and added a full Type R setup. And when I say Type R, I'm talking about FL5 Type R accoutrements. It has the full Type R setup, controlled by Honda, with a Type R gearbox, shifter that has a manual 6-speed. It essentially is what we envisioned Honda would build if there was such thing as a Type R Odyssey. Now, in the past, there were so many different renders out there, so many concepts, so many AI concepts, but nothing came to light. But if you take a look at that very closely, to the untrained eye, it looks factory. And by the way, many of you may find this very interesting. This Odyssey versus that, guess which one was easier to build? Believe it or not, that one. Even with 1,000 horsepower and all the crazy madness and a very short timeline, we had to put that together. This Odyssey, to make it look like factory, was a very huge, difficult task, which we're able to accomplish quite nicely. So I'm very proud to do that. Jay Cruz gave me my #1 gifter badge on TikTok. Appreciate the kind words, appreciate that. That van has been around so long, I love it, says, how do you say it, Nisio built? Yes, thank you so much. From 2013 to today, and this is the most recent one that was built this year. So thank you so much for sharing that. My favorite car was my 2004 Odyssey with no seats. I would fly. I second that, says Wanda Garcia. Look at the OG Odyssey. I remember, says Fixit Civic. Got Felix, sorry, 718. So much good content and interaction here on the YouTube live channel. Appreciate you guys indeed. Hey, Type R, looks very factory. Thank you so much, Fixit Felix 718. Appreciate the kind words. Were you messing with electric turbos? No, we left the factory original ones. Both of these vehicles have turbochargers that are actuated by the exhaust gases and also the heated combustion coming out of the engines. Just like a standard internal combustion engine petrol would look like. And that's what we have. Perhaps it's time to create the new Honda Prologue EV Type R, says NAB Visual Design. NAB, by the way, an amazing concept artist. I love Nicholas. By the way, speaking of concepts he's helped with here in the Bisimoto stable, that Type R Odyssey is his brainchild in terms of design. I don't know if I can pan over here. It's kind of hard to carry his equipment over, but I have a new Wagoneer 2025 right here that he conceptualizes as well. On the front, Honda just dropped off after a few repairs to my windshield, the Honda Prologue. He drew that up as well. In addition to that, he also did in my showroom here, the very, very well-received slammed Model 3 Tesla. He did the full-built plaid parachute Tesla as well, Plaid S. He also did a great job in just presenting that beautiful livery of Martini for the recent 935 that went to SEMA as well. So many great things that he's been a great part of. And he's gonna love me soon because, Nicholas, we have a lot more coming. I hope you don't get upset with me, but we have a lot of concepts that we want to explore with you, and I appreciate you joining the team and doing some great things for us. Appreciate you indeed. Why didn't they make a season 2 of Motor Mythbusters, says Pepe. That is total, how should I say, a combination of timing and politics that has to do with the Discovery Channel. I don't know if you knew that there was this merger between Discovery and Time Warner that kind of put a lot of concepts on hold. And so that's the reason why. It's totally logistics and the merger that happened between two large media entities that kind of put things on hold as well. Bolton Steele says, love the Martini Porsche. Love your vehicle. By the way, guys, we are in the midst of greatness here. Bolton Steele built this gorgeous, guys, this thing should be $1 million plus, gorgeous electrified Corvette Classic that was next to that beautiful Odyssey. If you guys went to the 2025 SEMA show in the Future Tech booth, I love what Bolton Steele did. I love their attention to detail. I love what they've done. It's pretty nice, you know? Are you not a fan of diesel, as Zuck has? I love the efficiency that can exist with diesel in terms of how much miles you can travel for the amount of fuel being consumed. For standard diesel, I'm not very pleased with this combustion compounds. So in my opinion indeed, it is a very dirty fuel. What I prefer is what these two run on, ethanol. I really am a big fan of ethanol, not only because of its renewable nature, but because of its high octane capability. And the fact that it actually cools the intake charge allows us to make a lot more power in a very cost-effective manner. So yeah, that's the reason why. So thanks for asking that question, you know? That show is awesome, says Pepe. Yes, you can watch a lot of reruns on HBO Max as we speak. So if you go on HBO, you can see myself, Tori Belici, and also Faye Hadley having a blast, really exploring some of the myths out there and having a good time doing that as well. Fictional character do you trust? Asked someone on YouTube, which I think he just took that away. Fictional character I would trust? Homelander. No, I'm kidding. I would trust, what would be a good fictional character that I would trust? Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, I guess maybe, you know. Do you think California will ever ease up on these smog laws? I would say no. Until someone of our caliber, and when I say our caliber, an enthusiast who understands the engineering behind cars and really understands the motive of being able to have clean air through exhausts. Until someone like that comes in office, I don't think anything can happen. And what do I mean by that? As yours truly as a chemical engineer, I understand the pollutants that go into the atmosphere when things are done improperly and we're not scrubbing our compounds of exhaust properly, where we have a lot of oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur existing. There's sulfur in oil that's not, in crude oil that's not sweet. There is oxides of nitrogen that occur just because of nitrogen occurring about 70% in our atmosphere, and you burn it. It forms these oxides of nitrogen, sulfur that can combine with moisture in the air and form acid rain and just be a big challenge to us. I understand the need to have clean air. I also understand that many enthusiasts would get their vehicles very nice for smog and then go back to their dirty exhaust gases when they go back to performing and putting their catless exhaust systems and crazy turbo systems and burning leaded fuels or fuels with tetraethyl lead or benzene or toluene inside them. Is just nasty for our environment. If I were part of the powers that may be, what I would incur or push forward is you can do whatever you want to your car as long as your tailpipe emissions are equal to or better than factory. So if you had a petrol burning Honda Civic SI and you convert it to E85 and then you're tested, even with a slight fee to approve your car, if you tested your exhaust system and your E85 ethanol burning car is cleaner than factory, do it. Because I don't want us to be vilified as individuals who love cars and love having a good time and be able to do great things with our cars and have fun. I'm not a big fan of all the takeovers and all that rubbish, but if you're out there just having a good time, going on a track, driving responsibly, just obeying the laws, but you just have a fun, cleaner car, why not do it? We shouldn't vilify tunes. We shouldn't vilify engine management solutions. I get it. If you don't pass, shame on you. But if you are cleaner than factory, what's the purpose? You are actually better for the environment or equal to than a factory car. So why not have at it? It's forced many of us to be able to go into EVs. But factory emissions are doctors, says Hujas Pizza. That may be true for some manufacturers. A majority of the time they're not, because we have independent agencies, including the California Air Resource Board, that really does monitor and take a look. OEMs do not want to run the risk of being detected as forged results and being sued. Think of Dieselgate as a good example of how that could be deleterious or a challenge to many OEMs. So think about that. There's more positive than negative, but vilifying an entire scene, being able to put us in a position where we are attacked or pretty much treated as criminals because we want to modify our cars, I don't think that's the way to go. Huge as Pizza says, looking at VW, absolutely. They went through a lot and paid out quite handsomely for doing something that was a big no-no, right? So what does that encourage us to do? Guys, it just says that people like myself, people like you, need to get involved in government. We need to vote for the right people or get involved as constituents to represent the people. Because what's happening is people are going to positions of power in California and other places where, especially on the national level, who don't understand science, who don't believe in science, don't even understand what we as enthusiasts are doing. We need more enthusiasts in positions of power, because those individuals, not to take advantage, but to be able to give us an opportunity where we can comfortably, in a very good way, enjoy our vehicles, enjoy modifications and doing it the right way. I'm not an advocate of having illegal cars on the road. I want to be able to have cars that are legal and fun so we can just enjoy our vehicles and make it our own without having challenges. It's just ridiculous, you know? So buddies, BS, appreciate the kind question. It's a good one indeed. And I want to be able to do anything I can to help. Dwayne Jones gave me a number 3 gifter badge on TikTok. Appreciate that indeed. Is that a Honda Odyssey? Yes, there are 2 of them. This is a 2014 Odyssey, and that is a 2025 Odyssey. So 2 different generations, 2 different platforms. Believe it or not, the Type R Odyssey is becoming even more popular than the OG Odyssey. And it's very interesting because I hear about other enthusiasts writing to me directly saying that, oh, there are other YouTubers who built Odysseys and this is nothing special. Guys, unfortunately it is. That is the first high performance Odyssey that exists. And before YouTubers started doing the Odyssey stuff, that one existed. A 7-week build that was very difficult. One of the most challenging builds that we've ever done in Bisimoto. And it's been a great opportunity to be able to build that and future ones. So special thanks to American Honda for building cars that allow us to have a lot of fun and to do it in a very legal manner. I really appreciate all of you guys. And yeah, the best is yet to come. Well said, says Andrew 9G. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. I really want to help, and I just don't like us being vilified. And it's so kind of strange, speaking of vilification, that comes from not only entities in the government, but even as our enthusiast community, as we reach around to play with zero emissions vehicles, I'm seeing all type of attacks. Guys, literally attacks. Whenever I show either an EV Porsche that we've done or EV Rolls Royce or anything electric, I keep getting all these really bad judgments and just bad comments and death threats and just people calling me names. It's really kind of silly that within our industry, we see enough hate already. As sport compact guys, as guys who love even European vehicles, we see all this animosity internally. Why add a means of propulsion as another means of doing that? In California, it's hard enough to drive around petrol cars that are modified. EVs are really a lot of fun and a way to go. And the fact that people attack because of that and it's politicized, that also rubs me the wrong way. Some people don't understand, says NAB, that the automotive world existed before YouTube. And you're right. I see that a lot. A lot of people just think that YouTube was the beginning and end all, but believe it or not, we were kind of building cars before YouTube even did stuff. This company, Bisimoto, has been open to the public since 2006. Prior to that, from 1993, I played around with cars and did a lot of racing under the Bisimoto banner, but officially open to the public and established this company in 2006. So that being said, by then, you know, whether you're going to Vine or even social networking, it wasn't very strong. And we've been building cars since then and continue to, which is quite nice indeed, you know. Fix It Felix 718 says, I saw this many years ago. I show everyone and they never forget your name for years. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind gesture and also the support as well. It was underground. It was, I wouldn't say only underground. It's something that's always just existed. And because social networking didn't capture it, yeah, we took some videos then. I think when I started the company, something as simple as, what's the company that makes the Hero 6? Jonathan, what's the name of the company that makes cameras like the Hero? GoPro, yes. So GoPro was in infancy. As a matter of fact, I knew one of the earlier executives at GoPro who also worked at Mitsubishi, who came to the shop and said they wanted to work with me when my shop was in Chino with GoPro. And I said, that's a dumb idea. No one wants to film themselves in a car racing. I thought it was a dumb concept, so I didn't partner with them. Shame on me, I'm regretting that today. But even then, we were doing a lot of cool things. If you wanted to see content around racing and motorsports, you went to your Sport Compact Car or Turbo Magazine or Super Street or Euro Tuner. You went to those Honda Tuning. You went to those entities. You had to wait like almost weeks or a couple months to see the results of racing. Or you go on the forums and see what people posted. There was really not much in terms of Instagram or YouTube or Vine or some of those other entities that existed at the time and some who don't exist today. So it's been a great journey. I need people to once in a while kind of read either books or do searches online instead of these blatant just comments, for lack of a better word, where people just say things without any evidence. Just, hey, yeah, you guys built this white Odyssey? So-and-so did that already. You guys are old news. I'm like, The wagon exists as far back as 2008, right? This one came to become in 2013. This is 2025. We have a bit of a pedigree here when it comes to cars and what we've done. So just FYI. Nacho Diecast Custom says, BC, you're a Honda legend. Your minivan is iconic. It's so cool to see you on here. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that indeed. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Thank you. By the way, I'd be remiss if I don't share with you guys something that was really exciting for me over the past about week or so. I, little by little, been getting really impressed by some of the technology and abilities that Toyota as a brand has provided us as an enthusiast community, even with their factory cars. I just received a capstone version of the newest 2025 Sequoia from Toyota. That thing is amazing. Not only is it luxurious and 3 rows, we can carry an entire family of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It also can tow quite nicely. When I picked up the Odyssey, I didn't really want to drive it because I'm so afraid of someone crashing into me. I was really terrified driving this from the convention center. Tracy was crazy enough to drive it from the shop to the convention center, no problem. But I was, just my luck. It's so weird. I just told you guys earlier on that the prologue was just dropped off to me. And when NAB said we should do kind of a crazy prologue that's almost Type R-like, the prologue, the reason why it's with Honda is because some things had to get fixed. I got sideswiped driving from the mountains down to the Canon headquarters not too long ago after doing a video shoot around the effects of heat soak on intakes and engine performance. Great video, by the way. If you haven't watched it, please go take a gander when we're done on YouTube. You can't miss it. And on my way back down, someone sideswiped me and I had to get that repaired. So ever since then, honestly, I've been really I shouldn't be because I've been driving for decades, but I'm getting a little gun shy about people who like either on their phone and trying to pay attention and look at my car and they don't even know they're veering into it. And this Odyssey is so popular, and already just driving around the city or going to the most recent toy drive with the Pierce Group, people are just staring and trying to get a glimpse of the car. I'm so scared that people are gonna sideswipe me. So you know what I did? I took this beautiful 2025 gray Toyota Sequoia, hitched my 24-foot trailer on it, drove down to the convention center and towed it back here. And it was a blast. I have never had so much luxury towing. It was just really cool. So one of the things I really liked about the Sequoia is believe it or not, of all the things and technology, yes, it has a J-brake built in, all these cool technology that can allow me to line up. I can't do that with my old school Ram truck. The new ones may have it, but my '08 doesn't. It actually allowed me to line up the ball directly to my hitch on my trailer, which may not sound like a big deal, but for me, it was a godsend to be able to have a pointer that kind of goes with the steering wheel, kind of moves around and points with a camera right on top to show me that I'm on my ball. So instead of me jumping in and out of the truck so many times to see if I'm hitched without any help, I can, with one try, boom, hitch it up. Then the rear view mirror, I need to show a video or a picture of this. The rear view mirror on that car is amazing. Instead of having a standard rear view mirror where I can look behind and see who's in the car and behind the car as well, this rear view mirror was digital. And the cool thing about having a digital rear view mirror was that the camera gave me a wider view of the road. So instead of seeing a narrow view that existed between the aperture of the rear glass, I had, I'm not exaggerating guys, almost 2 lanes left, 2 lanes right span of view sight in this car. And when it comes to safety, I love that. The feedback was very nice. The car felt very reactive. What are some of the cons I see with the car? I wasn't too keen on the gas mileage. Being a fuel petrol car that wasn't a hybrid, I was averaging about 20 miles per gallon driving around. When towing, I was 11.7 miles per gallon. So that was kind of a little bit of a letdown in terms of economy. But take that out of the equation, it's a wonderful vehicle with a lot of power, a lot of pep, very comfortable, heated and ventilated seats, an interactive display with Apple CarPlay that was very, very nice. I can do settings, it's very huge, very interactive. I didn't have to look way too far to look at my directions of where I'm going. The digital dash was very, very intuitive, has a nice splash screen that comes up when we first power the car on. Chock full of data, everything from RPM to gas mileage to average gas mileage to constant gas mileage to the pressure of your tires all around, to if you're in tow mode, if a trailer is detected, you can even use a very intuitive way to be able to set up your J brake on the car. Amazing SUV. Keep it up, Toyota. I'm very proud of what you guys are creating and looking forward to doing more with you guys. Appreciate you indeed. Let's see here. Born a Drummer just gave me a #1 gifter badge, and I assume that Born a Drummer says hello to the best is my very good friend. Is that you, Glenn? And if it is Glenn, Glenn is not only an amazing drummer that played with the Hall & Oates, he's also a very accomplished actor who was in movies as big as Tombstone. So if that's you, Born a Drummer, thank you so much. It is Glenn. There you go. Glenn, I love you, guy. I love you so much. Glenn, we're working on a car right now, getting an interior redone. You and I need to do some cool content very soon. I appreciate you and just gonna need to come visit you. So thank you so much for being who you are. Love you deeply. I saw, okay, who said this ain't special? Said Fix It Felix. I don't know. It's just some random guy who just didn't think it was special. He said that there's another YouTube channel that involves a small group, and they built an Odyssey that I think was 1,000 horsepower as well, but did it after this one existed and kind of did their own thing. This one came courtesy of American Honda, which is very kind of them to assist us in this venture. I'm looking forward to do more with with the OEMs as well. So yeah, this random guy just posted like, oh, that's nothing special. I'm like, If you want to point fingers at things are special or not, how about being creative? That's the first high performance van that existed, 4-digit power from a V6 manual. Did it first. Did a wagon first. Did that, even picked up an MR2. When I saw this, I got rid of the MR2. I just got rid of my AW11, which I love. AW11s were the first cars I fell in love with. Couldn't afford it when I was a student, so I went with a CRX, which changed my life. Hence, making Honda my very first love when it came to performance vehicles. Fast forward today, we do everything from Porsches, to Toyotas, to Hyundais, to Genesis, to Jeeps. We do it all. It's quite nice indeed. So, but Honda was my very, very first love indeed. Didn't you show back in the day with a sleeper van? Yes, I've done quite a few shows with this van. We did everything from the Top Gear episode to Car Matchmaker to Drive TV to even the very well scripted Fastest Car. So yeah, and I think that was on Netflix, and we were in season 1, episode 1, which is quite nice indeed. How is your first turbo build doing? The Z6 Wago van that's been sold, Jibo318. So for those of you who may not know, in 2008, I built my first internal turbo build. Now, prior to that crazy Wago van, I had built turbos for customers, no challenge. I've tuned hundreds of turbo cars. I was just a very strong advocate of natural aspiration, especially small displacement, high RPM engines. However, just to give you guys this background story, and hopefully I don't bore you to death with this, I was approached by Jonathan Wong, who's now currently with the ID agency. At the time, he was the editor-in-chief for Super Street magazine. JDM Wong, as he was fondly referred to, approached me to build a car to enter this competition that was, how should I say, sponsored by Castrol Syntec. And they really wanted to do this build series where they pitched different magazines versus each other, and the shops are chosen by each magazine to compete in this kind of crazy competition to do the most power per displacement. So companies like, I should say, companies, but publications like Sport Compact Car, Eurotuner, Lowrider Magazine, Sport Compact Car, all these magazines under the then, I believe it was Prime Media Publication Group, everyone selected their own vehicle builders. Super Street chose Bisimoto. I believe Eurotuner, I think they chose 034 Motorsports. Lowrider Magazine picked Ace Engineering. I think Sport Compact Car chose Cosworth. I don't remember who chose AMS, but everyone got to choose their own entity. And not to bore you with the logistics of this build, Both Carsworth and I chose to build natural aspirated cars in a sea of boosted applications because there was going to be a torture test cycling for an hour between peak torque and peak horsepower to see who would survive. And both the Carsworth team and I felt like, oh, natural aspiration is the way to go. Boosted cars are going to blow up, especially if they're trying to push the envelope to get a ton of power from a small displacement engine. Long story short, that torture test was never performed because I think the mindset was we didn't want people blowing up their engines, was what was told by the publication heads. And so AMS, I think they put one of their drag cars, I think it was a 2.0 engine, inline 4, they kind of placed their own fully built engine into the competition and they won. And then we went to SEMA, I think in 2009, I believe, no, 2008, no, I think it was 2007 SEMA. We went there to do the ceremony and not the owner of AMS. I've been very clear about this because the founder and owner of AMS is a very good engineer, very humble gentleman. We spent some good time filming Hyperdrive out on the East Coast near New York for Netflix as well. Just him and I Marvin and I we just hit off very nicely. I have no qualm with him. It's one of his employees that came to me and said, why did you build a natural aspirated setup in a build that would have benefited with turbocharging? It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Why would you do that? And I explained my position because just like Cosworth, we felt that if the torture test was done, all of you turbo guys will blow up. As a matter of fact, I was talking a lot of crap in the competition build-up as we built this kind of crazy 300 horsepower F-Series single cam engine, which by the way made more horsepower per displacement than the Cosworth car. That particular build was designed to be very efficient and also extremely reliable. And do you know what the guy said to me? He's like, nah, you just did it because you didn't know anything about turbocharging. I'm like, whoa. Turbocharging is easier than natural aspiration. I've tuned a ton of turbocharged cars. I just never cared to build one myself. Whatever, you know what you're talking about. You just know how to do it. And I was pissed. I left that gentleman's side after he walked away, went straight to Jonathan Wong at SEMA in the same room and said, hey, Jonathan, remember that my little crappy Wago van that's like kind of my daily? By the way, when I left corporate to open Bisimoto Engineering, my company cars were taken away. I was literally left with my CRX, my tow truck, and an open bed trailer, and this raggedy white Wago van, 1988, with pink wheels, just as a joke, because it's on sale from my good friend Mike Thomas from High End, with some Toyo tires on it, lowered with some sprocket suspension, and that was like my parts kit. It had a blown head gasket, by the way, so it can drive quite nicely, but if I go uphill on a hot day, I'm in trouble, right? I said, why don't I build that car? Not as a bench build where we put an engine dyno like everyone else does. I want to build a true street car, 1.6 liter, and all I have to do is make 600 horsepower to the wheels, and I will make more power per displacement than this AMS car engine build. He said, let's do it. And BC, if you do this, I'll capture the build. We just need 2 articles on Superstreet and it'll be great. Guys, the first article came out with our concept and it got so much attention and so much praise. It ended up being a 6-part series from beginning this crazy white wagon with pink wheels with a dual point injection setup to this D16Z6 huge turbo, 720 horsepower front wheel drive monster that ended up being blue to pay homage to my old CRS. As you can see, I love cars that are blue in nature. And it just went viral through the forums, went crazy. By the way, not viral in a good way. In normal BC fashion, I was attacked significantly. Thank you so much, Jake Stead, for that. I was attacked. People accused me of everything from lying to making up the data. There's no way single cams can make that kind of power. I'm full of crap. I remember someone put really vulgar. I don't even know why the moderators on Honda Tech didn't block this stuff. People putting like just porn and vulgar stuff on my feed, on my thread. My thread ended up being the most voluminous thread in the craziest subforum on Honda Tech, which is forced induction, it just went crazy. Pages and pages, hundreds, if not thousands of comments on this particular thing. And I was just attacked like crazy until some very clever people who can see through all the rubbish decide to test it for themselves. And that's a team from Speed Factory. James and the team decided, like, hey, let's kind of build something that BC did. Let's use the same components, but let's put a bigger turbo. And you know what ended up happening? They use the same Bisimoto camshaft, same valve trains, same kind of piston design, same block, same heads, same kind of exhaust manifold, bigger turbo, did their own tuning. And can you believe they actually made more power than the 726 that we did? They actually made close to 800. They make more power, they even split a block, which I end up doing later on too, and finding ways to fix that. So that being said, that is what kind of opened me up. And people are like, oh, these guys did it, I guess it's normal. Fast forward to today, there is not one D series out there that's making a ton of power that doesn't have Bisimoto products in them. Not one. The amazing Drew says, BC, why do people attack you despite your achievements, proven achievements? Very simple. People are afraid of the unknown, and I don't know, people just uncomfortable with change. Everything we've done, from these Odysseys to even you buying headers to exhaust manifolds, all came from someone taking a chance and doing something different. And by the way, I can tell all of you, ladies and gentlemen, in this interaction, that if you don't have a very strong heart, not physically, but a strong heart to be able to withstand attacks or haters, please do not do what we do. Don't walk the path that's least traveled. Don't blaze a path. Don't enjoy the benefits of doing something unique that no one's ever done before. Just follow the herd. Do what everyone else does. Go and do the same recipe. Do the same thing that everyone else and no one will attack you. But unfortunately, everyone attacks what I do because we tend to do things differently. I got attacked on the Odyssey. I got attacked on, oh, the D-Series single cam when I used to drag race. You won't believe, I've had my head pulled at Nopi and Palmdale when it's dusty because people are attacking me saying I must be cheating. There's no way a D-Series can make that kind of power. Now, of course, I had the additional advantage of being an engineering student and graduating with honors from engineering and taking a lot of my insight and creativity and putting in those engines while racing against other people who were just kind of mechanics and builders. Yes, that may give me a slight advantage being that I was creative and also had the academia behind me, but people just attacked without even trying to understand. And I was very open. You can approach me anytime and ask me what I did, and I'm open with all my data. Same thing I'm doing here with all of you, I always did. It's just the nature of humans. It's human nature to attack the unknown. It's human nature to attack things that are just not comfortable or no different. It happens in every facet of life. It happens in medicine, happens in engineering, happens in technology, happens in racing, happens in politics. Anything people do that places people uncomfortable, or if someone can't understand the technology, just can't get it, doesn't understand how that can be possible, or if they can do it, it's weird. And just to take it even further, imagine a world where, you know, we've done unique things with Odysseys like this, or unique things with single cams. Imagine every time someone builds a single cam, I get approached to race. I never got that either. So I built the first 1,000 horsepower minivan. I need to race every minivan that exists. I never got that. Imagine you building a Civic, and every time someone builds a Civic, go race him. If you don't race him, you suck. I never got that either. So anyway, I'm used to it attacking. It's almost a badge of honor now, because here's the process I've noticed. You build something unique that no one's ever done before. You get attacked. People attack you, they scrutinize you, they challenge you, then they pay attention, and then they copy. So I even shared this with my children this weekend as we were walking to the park. I'm like, hey, never ever let other people dictate to you what you need to do. Create your own path, do what you feel is right. Never extinguish that creativity and ability to push forward. Because people will tell you, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you raise this person? Why didn't you do this? What? Not accomplishing much themselves, they always want to troll you from a distance. Don't let that get you down. Stay focused, stay positive, take the hits on the chin, it all pays off. Because those same people very soon would admire you and then copy what you're doing. Don't let it put you down. And that's how we move forward as an industry. We have to keep innovating. The team and I, reason why I came in here somewhat late is because the team and I were discussing new opportunities within the organization, looking for ways to really push the envelope and continue to do fun, great things. So it's good. Love you visited, says King Crunk 2000. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate you. It was a gold color Honda van, I remember. Would you ever do a Honda step wagon? Maybe a candidate for electric since it's so small and square, like the 97 with camper on top. It's weird you said that because my lead fabricator here, Jonathan, just picked up one recently. He just picked up a step wagon. And yep, he just said yep right there. And I think we were talking about tires and doing some things. So pay attention. We should have some good things coming soon around that. So yeah, by all means, by all means. Donut Royd says, BC spitting facts. Thank you so much. It's true, you know. Make your enemies your footstool. Absolutely, the amazing Drew. And I'll even add that a little bit to you, Drew. If you don't have haters, if you don't, you're doing something wrong. If everyone agrees with everything you do and people just going along with it, then you're not really pushing the envelope. I've learned that when you do things crazy, I think someone just talked about Rywire's EV Civic, and he got a lot of attacks with that. I really felt bad. It's kind of silly because he did a lot of great things with that. He took a chance and really paved the path that most people are scared to even explore, and he did well. He did well indeed, you know. Oh, look at this guy. EJ8 Troy 89 says, race Kyle. See, he's proved my point. So everyone that builds a van, I need to just go out and take my time and resources and race them. Okay, fine. I'm all about it. Just race to achieve, I don't know, is that for clout or anyway. So guys, that's what I'm talking about. You have people who just come in and just want to create some unnecessary drama just because. I'm gonna keep building cool things. We're gonna keep kind of crazy things. Maybe if I build a 3-wheeled inline 4 Type R setup, every time someone else builds one, I race them just for clout, I guess. I don't know, clout? I don't get it. JDM Boys, other way up. Hi, BC. It's been a long time. I raced the Audi W Civic Red, had an all-wheel drive K20 wagon. How have you been? I've been great indeed. Thank you so much. Rev Tech High, appreciate you indeed for joining the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. But yeah, it's been great. Hello, King Crunk 4200, appreciate you. Proving your point that you a duck. I don't even know what, EJ, speak English. I don't know what that means. Which Odyssey is faster, Type R1 or the first Odyssey? It depends on your definition of faster. It depends. This can be traction limited. 1,000 horsepower is a lot of fun and great, but it does kind of spin tires a lot. That one, because of the power output and how the power is appreciated, it actually has lower power and can actually take off quite nicely. So we don't know. I guess the best way to know is to be able to pit both of them against each other and do some content and see what happens. And you have my commitment that I'll make that happen. Dealing Designs, hi sir. Hello Dealing, appreciate you indeed. I think it's time for us to escort EJ Troy out because he seems to be trolling here. So goodbye sir, and you are gone. Dealing Designs, great creative guy, says hello sir. By the way, Dealing Designs has been a great advocate for the Bisimoto brand. When it comes to turbofans, whether you want something that's unique, classic, or modern, he is the one to go to. I love his turbofans. He's helped us with quite a few SEMA projects. He worked on a few of our Porsches as well. Great guy indeed. Love your work. And actually, I may reach out to you very soon because we may have some opportunities to work together again. All slow, no go, love the name, says agree on being more innovative to benefit the industry. And that's what we do. Guys, honestly, I'm gonna talk a little bit before I let you guys go about some insights that can help with creativity to create an opportunity where our industry rises as a whole. Adopt a place that exists, you hear HD, H2Bs, that came from yours truly, from here at Bisimoto. I had an engine, an F-Series I want to go up in terms of displacement and bigger power, but I didn't want to get rid of my D-Series gearbox that I invested quite heavily with some Mugen parts. So that need created a adapter plate system, which has helped our tremendous industry so much. Fast forward today, you can see adapter plates everywhere, but that initially originated for a drag race opportunity here at Bisimoto. Secondly, ITBs from Kinsler. I was introduced to Jim Kinsler by a very fine young man who's a D-Series enthusiast who worked for Kinsler and is now working with Link ECU. Scott Cole, great guy, we hit it off quite nicely. After our interaction and meeting on the forums, I found out he worked for Kinsler, and I had this concept where I wanted to do some crazy ITBs for my single cam projects. And I wanted to be stage injection to allow me to take advantage of a lot of Formula One technology that could be used quite nicely in our drag race scene. Now, when I talk about Formula One technology, I'll share this with you. You notice on a lot of Formula Ones, especially the earlier years where the injectors were really far away from the valve head, I noticed while I was in lab, and by the way, I almost got kicked out of school for doing this experiment, that the farther away you got injectors, the finer the mist for atomization. And the finer the mist, the more power you can make. Because your goblets of fuel are not absorbing heat of combustion and allowing you to be less efficient. So I wanted to be able to utilize that same technology in my inline setups that were drag racing. So I approached Jim Kinsler, courtesy of Scott Cole, who's an advocate for me. He didn't want to do it because he understands the damage or danger of having stage injection. But I reminded him, hey, I have an AM ECU that can allow me to use, especially with big camshafts, injectors closer to the head to allow you to have a nice spray to get you in the low RPMs. And as you go up in RPM, you can wean off the primary injectors and put in the staged. The beautiful thing about that is if you have big camshafts, which we had a lot of overlap in our drag race program, and you only have a stage injector, like injector far away, during overlap at low RPM, you can bring flames into the intake tract and create a big fire application. However, as you go up in RPM, you have less of a chance of that flame propagating to the trumpets. So if you do have small injectors in the front, taking care of fueling requirements at low RPM, and as your RPM goes up and you have a lot of air going and flowing into the engine, you can then bring on the secondary injectors and have this great atomization that can give you a lot more power. I picked up almost 20 wheel doing stage injection versus standard port injection near the valve head. So it worked very well. Because of me convincing Jim Kinsler with Scott Cole's influence, we were able to bring Kinsler into the Honda scene. Fast forward to today, you'll be hard pressed with seeing any record-breaking inline 4 Honda without Kinsler fuel injection. And that came, once again, with our influence here at Bisimoto. Then I sent them an engine to the Detroit area to allow them to do ITBs for Porsches. Fast forward today. Don't you just love seeing Kinsler ITBs on Singers? That came from a 964 engine that came from this shop as well. So to answer your question about innovation, yes, we have to keep pushing forward and doing great things in terms of innovating to allow us all as an industry to grow. And it's been good. It's been good indeed, you know. DT says, man, it's been a minute since I've watched one of those lives. Glad you're still having these TED Talks. My pleasure indeed. And it's still coming. NAB Nicholas says exactly, that's healthy competition. It's necessary for a positive thing in the industry. And I completely agree. And with that beautiful note from our good friend Nicholas, I'll bid you farewell. Have a ton of wiring to do. The guys have been very kind to me in terms of noise because I'm here with you guys and I know they want to get back to work. So I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much, traffic psychologists, for the kind words as well. I appreciate the kind gesture. I look forward to seeing all of you guys very soon. In the meantime, stay safe and look forward to presenting some great projects to all of you from the Bisimoto stable as time progresses. Have a great afternoon, guys. Take care and a wonderful balance of the week. Cheers. Bye-bye.